I'm Nicole Versansky from 19 News. Here are the latest headlines for Friday, February 20th, 2026.
First with breaking news. First with new information. 19 News starts now with a first alert for severe weather.
We begin tracking high winds in our area. It is a 19 first alert weather day. You can see the winds really whipping around out there from these live camera shots, from strong gusts to plummeting temperatures. The 19 first alert weather team is tracking it all. Thanks for joining us. I'm Nicole Versansky. Brian Duffy is off today. So we're talking wind gusts in the neighborhood of 50 miles per hour or higher today. 19 First Alert meteorologist John Lothman joins us with Cleveland's most accurate forecast.
Yeah, we advertise this, and Nicole, I think you just got it covered. Mercury's headed to the bottom of the thermometer. We have winds that are damaging and causing power outages, and we have snow coming. It must be a weekend in Northeast Ohio. Whitecaps are plentiful out on Lake Erie, and that's because of these very, very strong winds. Last hour, we had a wind gust of 56 miles per hour. Also had a wind gust of 56 at noon. Until 7 p.m., we are under a first alert weather day for strong gusty winds, plummeting temperatures. Tomorrow, gray skies, highs only in the mid and upper 30s. Sunday and Monday, we have periods of snow and some lake flurries, but highs only around 30. That snowfall amount will be anywhere between 1 inch and 4 inches. But for the moment, we're concerned with these wind alerts all the way from the Pennsylvania border to the Indiana border. We are looking for wind gusts up to and in excess of 50 miles per hour. The winds have abated a bit. Akron's at 48. We have a 47 mile per hour wind gust at Cleveland, 48 at Elyria, in the 30s, and the winds will start to die down, but not until the morning hours. So we're going to be dealing with this through the night. Downtown 37, 36 at Hopkins. We topped at 56. So in the last several hours, we have dropped nearly 20 degrees. What's ahead? I'll take you through it in a First Alert Future View all the way to the next 7 and beyond.
John, thank you. And you can scan the QR code here on your screen for the free download of the 19 First Alert weather app. There are live updates of the conditions out there. You can stay informed about the wind, these gusts, and get push alerts to your phone before any severe weather arrives. Well, a testament to the wind, power outages really have been fluctuating all day. 19 data journalist Dan DeRosa is here with a look at where we are seeing the most of the outages right now.
Nothing quite as extreme as if we had had a severe weather or thunderstorm come through like we see in the spring and the summer. But when you get winds of 50 miles an hour, you're going to lose some trees, you're going to lose some limbs, and some people are going to lose power. Whenever it looks like a Christmas tree, we're using the First Energy live outage map. When you see these different colors, that's not good. The blues, those are 50 or less customers that are out. This green over here in Elyria, we're going to check this out. That is 500 or less. Elyria, you're looking at 441 customers without. When we get to Cleveland, it's basically because it's just such a big service area. 652 customers without power right now. Rocky River is our big hotspot. Something tells me that they've lost a tree in this area that's maybe knocked out a transformer to an entire neighborhood. Looking at just over 1,500 customers without power there. All total right now, 4,900. That's not a huge number. I've seen this dip down to about 2,500. It's gone back up to about 5,000. So it's going to be that kind of afternoon until, like John said, about 7 o'clock, we can get some of these winds to calm down. When we look at the restored, sometimes they give us a time frame of when they're going to have the power back up. First Energy not giving us that on this. But again, Rocky River, the big problem area right now with 1,500 customers without power.
All right, Dan, thanks for that update. We also have a boil alert to tell you about out of Sheffield Lake. The city says service has been restored. This was from 306 Gale north to Hawthorne, including several homes on Hawthorne. But there's now a 24-hour boil alert. So people should boil all water that they're going to use for drinking, for cooking, for brushing your teeth, and making ice until 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Well, it is a decision reverberating through the global economy. and a blow to President Donald Trump's economic agenda and foreign policy. The Supreme Court has ruled that President Trump's sweeping global tariffs are illegal. Karen Caifa is in Washington with the latest and what it means for consumers.
In the most significant case involving the U.S. economy to reach the justices in decades, the Supreme Court ruled that President Donald Trump violated federal law when he unilaterally imposed sweeping tariffs around the globe. The 6-3 majority opinion written by Chief Justice John Roberts emphasized that the power to enact such tariffs must be clearly granted by Congress, and the emergency authority Trump attempted to rely on falls short. The decision delivering a blow to Trump's second-term economic agenda and foreign policy.
This was an important case to me, more as a symbol of economic national security.
Experts noting the court only struck down one avenue for Trump's tariff plans.
We shouldn't think that the topic of tariffs is now going away somehow, even beyond potential lawsuits, because the president has any number of other ways that he can continue to try and push for tariffs and impact, levies. So we'll be watching for that.
For consumers, immediate relief from the decision is unlikely, economists say, because the court did not give any guidance on what should happen to the tariff revenue already collected.
Even if refunds are ultimately issued, they're not going to be issued to consumers. They're going to be issued to firms. And then you're depending on firms ultimately passing those back to the consumer.
As of December 14th, federal data showed the government had collected $134 billion in revenue from the tariffs that were struck down. In Washington, I'm Karen Caifa.
Markets have been keeping fairly calm since that Supreme Court ruling. A little bit of ups and downs, as you see, but ending in the green. The Dow up almost 0.5%, the Nasdaq up nearly 1%, and then the S&P 500 rising more than 0.5% as well. Developing news in Lorain County, 144 union workers are still on strike, and that could mean a delay in benefits for people who live there. Today is the third day Job and Family Services workers for the county are on the picket line. Now, the local United Auto Workers Union is saying things like food stamps, Medicare, and daycare services could take longer to get to families in need.
They say that they have management in there that are doing the jobs right now, but if it's not enough with those workers in there and management, it's not enough with just the management that's in there. So they have less than a skeleton crew right now. So there's going to be a delay in the clients' benefits right now.
The union is striking because they say they are not getting paid enough. The Lorain County Commissioners say they have sent their final and best offer to the union, and it's now being reviewed. Police make an arrest in an Elyria shooting from earlier this month, and they're also searching for another suspect. So they caught 18-year-old John Carter. He's been charged with felonious assault. Police also arrested a 17-year-old. Detectives now have arrest warrants for this man, Barry Vaughn Jr. If you know where he is, call Elyria Police. And there are more fugitives facing serious warrants. They don't need to be on our streets. They need to be in a courtroom facing a judge. Dan DeRosa is back with our second case in Cuyahoga's Most Wanted.
We've seen this before. Individuals found guilty of really heinous crimes. This one against a child less than 8 years old, but yet religious tattoos. So clearly a very religious man. Let's get to the case of Angel Vega.
What we know is that our community is very passionate about protecting their children. And when we get into this one, you'll see. In 2007, Angel Vega actually pled guilty to rape and was sentenced to 13 years in prison. According to the Cuyahoga County Sex Offender Registry, the victim in that case was under the age of 8 years old. He's required to register with the Sheriff's Department due to his guilty plea, but has failed to do so. He actually failed to appear in court in this case, and a warrant was issued for his arrest. He can be identified as well by the tattoo on his neck, and interestingly, he has a tattoo on his left arm of an angel and a tombstone with doves and a picture of Jesus.
Detective, we do this to clean up our streets. We do this to get justice for victims and their families. There is the issue of a $5,000 reward, and what do you like people to know?
That crime doesn't pay, but Crime Stoppers does.
Crime against a child just 8 years old, but yet Jesus right there on his arm. 216-252-7463. That call goes directly to Crime Stoppers of Cuyahoga County. You get to remain completely anonymous. They don't want your name. They don't want your phone number. They just want the tip that gets police and detectives and the warrant unit to the door of Mr. Vega. And if Mr. Vega or his family are watching, I want to remind you, we have about a 78% capture rate of the fugitives that have been featured here on Cuyahoga's Most Wanted, whether directly or indirectly. So you may want to do the right thing. Just turn yourself in. Nicole?
The Nancy Guthrie investigation continues. The 84-year-old mother of Today Show host Savannah Guthrie has been missing now for 20 days. Andres Gutierrez is in Tucson, Arizona, where Guthrie was taken from her home.
Saturday marks 3 weeks since Nancy Guthrie was last seen alive in Tucson. On Friday, Mexican officials said there's no indication the 84-year-old could be in the country and no joint investigation exploring that possibility. Experts say doorbell camera video of a suspect still provides the best clues to help solve the kidnapping.
It looks like somebody who's very much planned not to leave any trace of himself.
Investigators have little to go on. A man described as 5'9" or 10 inches tall with an average build, carrying a backpack bought at Walmart that does not appear to be heavy, inviting theories of why he carried it.
He thought he was going to need something like that to carry items away. It could be items like rags, things to clean up, cleaning solutions. So we don't know what investigators are finding inside the house.
Investigators say they're considering using genealogy sites to match DNA found in Guthrie's home.
The best type of DNA is inside the house that comes directly from bodily fluids. So blood, sweat, saliva.
A spokeswoman with the Pima County Sheriff's Department says this is not a cold case. It remains an active investigation with many calls coming in. Just in the last few weeks, the department has received almost 55,000 911 calls compared to fewer than 30,000 a year ago. Several hundred investigators are assigned to the case. Rewards for information leading to whoever kidnapped Guthrie are now over $200,000 following an anonymous donation of $100,000 earlier this week. Andres Gutierrez, CBS News, Tucson.
Now, the Pima County Sheriff said earlier this week the Guthrie family has been cleared and they are victims in this case. The Great Plains getting hit with dangerous fire weather conditions. Firefighters battling more than a dozen wildfires that have burned tens of thousands of acres and forced evacuations all over that area. So the largest of them is the Ranger Road Megafire. This started Tuesday in Oklahoma and spread into southern Kansas. Since then, it has burned an area nearly twice the size of Chicago.
Now your 19 First Alert forecast. Certified most accurate since 2004.
Yeah, we have had some wild weather this winter. Nicole pointed it out. There is the flag in Madison. It doesn't whip any more strongly than that. These are winds that are dangerous and already have caused power outages. And boy, if it was trash day, I think trash barrels are going to be rolling. Into this evening, blustery winds, falling temperatures. Late today, we are in the low 40s, and we're on our way there pretty quickly. This weekend, snow returns Sunday. Widespread snow, 1 to 3 plus inches. Couple of spots, the models are showing 4 inches of snow. I'll show you those in a moment. More flags. These in Oberlin, there's the state flag, and 36 at Cleveland, at Lorraine Elyria, 38 at Akron Canton. You can see these temperatures are only a few degrees above freezing even now. I would throw the wind chills in, but they're only around 20 degrees across the region, and 20-degree wind chills are something to sneeze at compared to what we've had. We have 36, 38 at Akron, 38 at Canton. You can see pretty uniform air. Now, this represents the cold front. The cold front is industrial strength and it's moving very slowly. We'll take a look at where it is in a moment. Temperatures slide tonight down to that 32-degree reading you see at 5 a.m. I think that's where we'll bottom out, and that'll be at about 7. And these temperatures, I mean, what a contrast. Even now, 36 at Cleveland, while it's 50 at Cincy, as the cold air is just beginning to move through. If you take a look at, let's go Nashville, 130 miles away from Nashville at 67. They are at 50 at Paducah. So this thing is going to bring a real punch as it comes on through. Tonight, we take a dip down to right around freezing, right around 30, give or take a couple of degrees at most locations. And then the day tomorrow brings a recovery only up to about 35. Again, today's high, 56 degrees. What a contrast in temperatures. Snow tracker. This starts late Saturday around 10 o'clock and then it just continues all the way through Monday. By Monday afternoon, about noon, we could see 4 inches of snow, and a couple of pockets may even see more than that in the snow belt as this next round comes in. From the 35 in the clouds and colder Saturday, we go to snow showers Sunday that carry into Monday with lake effect. A quiet and cold Tuesday, milder rain showers Wednesday, Thursday and Friday. We're talking 39 and 44. Then we go up and down into next weekend.
Now to your top 4 at 4. A judge said he will not make a decision today on whether or not to lift the consent decree in Cleveland. Judge Solomon Oliver Jr. saying the motion filed by the Department of Justice in the city came as a surprise, and he needs to carefully think this out. Cleveland police have been operating under the consent decree since 2015 because officers were violating people's constitutional rights. The Supreme Court dealt a major blow to President Trump's economic policies. In a 6-3 ruling, the Supreme Court struck down President Trump's sweeping tariff agenda, writing that the International Emergency Economic Powers Act does not authorize the president to impose tariffs. Small businesses and a group of states brought the legal challenge to the court in November. A suspicious find in Lake County, a box of bones, was found in an apartment on South Ridge Road in Madison Township. Police were called out to investigate. They tell us possible human and animal bones were recovered. They're being evaluated right now by the Lake County Coroner's Office. North Howard Street in Akron is finally reopening today. Crews are out redoing the road yesterday after last week's massive sinkhole practically swallowed a car. The city says it started with a water main break, which led workers to a damaged sewer line. So crews have been working around the clock to be able to fix all of it. The death of actor Eric Dane from ALS at the age of 53 has raised many questions about the disease and its effects. ALS is a progressive, fatal neurodegenerative disease. It causes muscle twitching and weakness in an arm or leg, as well as trouble swallowing, slurred speech, and affects chewing, speaking, or breathing. It is a rare disease with no clear family history and no single identifiable cause.
People who are diagnosed with ALS are usually between the ages of 60 and 80, so Eric Dane was actually pretty young to have this.
Yeah.
Men do seem to be diagnosed more frequently.
Potential risk factors include smoking, military service, and exposure to solvents, pesticides, and heavy metals. All right, John, thank you. Well, you know the sound. It's a big bang. Your car shifts. It's probably followed by a few choice words. It's the pesky pothole you just hit. Crews in town are out fixing them as fast as they pop up. First at 4, Isabella Roberts shows you their new high-tech solution that's apparently faster, safer, and more efficient.
This is what the future of pothole repairs look like in Akron. One machine, one operator, and a permanent fix, all without having to step into traffic. This is one of Akron's new emulsion machines, a one-man pothole repair system. This machine revolutionizing the way the city patches potholes. Deputy Bureau Manager Anthony Dawley says workers used to fill about 100 a day. This technology helps them far exceed that number.
You know, for an average size pothole, like the actual machine that we have, you could probably patch maybe about 150 holes with that.
The city bought 2 of them this year at $300,000 each, with a combination of special assessments and income tax.
We are given a budget every year for new equipment and for the replacement of old equipment. So it came out of that budget.
They're not just faster, they're safer too.
It's a one-man operation in a cab as opposed to 4 people outside in traffic.
The operator controls everything from the cab, using a joystick to move the arm and patch the hole. The best news, the city says it's a permanent fix.
It's a permanent patch as opposed to a cold mix or a hot mix. We know in 6 months from now, we're not going to be back patching that same pothole.
And Dolly wants to remind drivers that if they see these trucks out on the roads, to just be mindful of the crews working. In Akron, Isabella Roberts, 19 News.
The man whose badly decomposed body was found in late September in a wooded area in Akron has been identified. He is 36-year-old Jacob Paul Weisgerber. In 2024, Weisgerber was sentenced to a year in prison after pleading guilty. Police say he wore a Halloween costume, holding a knife, running into traffic. Court records say he was scheduled to be released from prison just 13 days before his body was found. We do not know the cause of death. The first Friday in Lent means local fish fries will be hopping, but you might be paying more this year for some menu items. Catherine Huntley joins us now to explain why.
Everyone's hard at work here at St. Vladimir's Ukrainian Orthodox Cathedral, hand-making everything for the first fish fry of Lent. But an unexpected rise in fish prices this year has everyone feeling the pinch. The fish is being breaded, the potatoes are being cut, and the stoves are on, ready for all to enjoy the first Friday of Lent. Parishioners at St. Vladimir's in Parma are hard at work to make the meal special. When buying fish for this year's feast, they had sticker shock.
This year's been a little bit of a nightmare.
Tamara Host is the co-chair for the annual fish fry. She says their prices for purchasing fish for the dinner have almost doubled.
It's really tough. I mean, there were some tough discussions this year as to what we do and don't do.
Each Friday in Lent, they serve hundreds of people fish dinners. They've had to raise prices for some items because the costs are so much higher. However, they are doing everything they can to keep prices down.
We source things and we look for where can we get the quality and the price, because we're not shirking on quality.
It's one of the big yearly fundraisers for the church, but it's also a time to get together as neighbors.
The reality is we also want to serve the community and get our name out there and make sure people know who we are.
Over at Edwin's restaurant, they're also hard at work prepping for tonight. They do the cooking for church's fish fries. Tonight, they're expecting between 400 to 500 people at St. Paul's and Cleveland Heights. They've seen the price of cod more than double. Their supplier said tariffs are a big reason for the jump, making shockingly higher prices.
Tariffs is a big one, even though it's Alaskan caught cod. Oftentimes it'll be maybe caught by a Canadian fishing boat, and then, processed on an Alaskan boat. There's so much jumping around with that.
Even with the dramatic fish price increase, they're still trying to keep the meals as affordable as possible.
We're kind of eating it as part of it. We're raising our price a little bit, but as I said, we can't raise it one-to-one with our costs as our costs go up. So we are just doing our best to raise it a little bit, trying to be as efficient as we can.
In Parma, Catherine Huntley, 19 News.
I'm Nicole Versansky. Thanks for listening. Make sure to subscribe for the latest headlines every weekday. And be sure to stream newscasts on demand on our free 19 News Plus app.